Hello YouTube, today I'm going to be doing a review for you on the Raidmax Viper GX2 PC case. So let's get into this. Just taking a quick look at the box, you can see the Raidmax Viper GX2. Moving to the side, just give you some more information, feel free to read that. And then on the back tells you some more information, such as support for two 240mm dual fan liquid coolant at the top, 3 and 5 and 1/4 inch screwless optical drive racks, HDD slide rails, some removable and modular top cover, USB, all that stuff. Tells you colored honeycomb, and some more Raidmax on the side. And again, that's pretty much that for the box. To get you started, you're going to get the user manual and some hard drive racks, and then some screws and a case speaker. So now let's just take a look at what I currently have set up with the case. If we open up the front panel, you can just see I have a disk drive in there. Then below I have a 120mm fan, and then included the 120mm stock fan. On the back, the stock 120mm fan, the I/O of the motherboard, and then on the bottom, the graphics card PCI slots right there, and then the power supply. Now if we take apart the case, you can just have a good look inside. So right here we have the 5.5 inch or 5 1/4 inch disk drive right there. So it has the toolless design, so you can stay locked without installing screws. So basically how that works is just pop open the front side panel, unlock it, and the holes will go into the screw holes, and then you can just slide it out from that way. So that's very convenient. On the bottom we have just a 3.5 inch hard drive. You can see it just slides in and out. On the bottom I have a power supply that has the fan coming in through the bottom, so it filters the air in. HD 6870 dual slot graphics card. And then right here I have my motherboard, the Asus P5Q Deluxe, which is an extended ATX motherboard, so it goes a little farther to the side. You can see that I have my cables routed through there as well as I can, since the power supply cords are pretty darn short. So yeah, that's pretty much for there. And then on the top I added another fan. Pulling off the top is actually pretty easy. Do not carry it from the top, since from experience the top does come off pretty difficultly. There are some tabs on here which you can do to get it off, or you can just pull it off. And then once you pull it off, you can just see we have the spot for the fans. I have a 120mm blue LED fan, which is a top exhaust. We have another spot for another one, and you can see the screw holes are a little bit bigger, so if you want a 140, you can easily put that up there too. With the top off, you can see we just have the SSD or hard drive hotspot, and then we have our USB, audio, on off, and then our LED indicators. Now if you do not have USB 2 on your case, like I don't, you can remove these, it's optional. There are some screws, so you can unscrew them and just completely remove them in case you don't want the excess cords, but yeah, you can do that, which is nice. So you can see we have the two USB 3s, the audio in and audio out, and then the LED, the indicator for hard drive activity and the power. So the switches are pretty decent, do not feel cheaply made at all. And I do not find myself hitting them. I occasionally hit the power button on my old case, but this one has a thing over it, so in case you bump it into your arm, you're not going to be setting it off, which is pretty awesome. And then the hot swap has a dust cover. Occasionally it does get stuck in the middle, so if it does happen, you can take off the top or just remove it. And yeah, you can put a hard drive in there, just like this. You take your 2.5 inch hard drive or SSD, and just put it in there, and there you go. If we take off the back portion, which houses all the cables, you can see there's an indent right there. It goes out quite a bit, so you have room to stuff cables right there if you just want to have them all going like that. Nice handles on the side, so you can see there is quite a bit of space in between the back in the case and the wall, plus the indent, so you have more than enough room. That's pretty much for that. If you also have lots of SSDs or 3 or 2.5 inch hard drives in there and you just don't have any more room, there is enough room to put the hard drive in right here or somewhere like that and just zip tie it on or glue it on or something like that. So there's enough room to put one of those down there, which is nice to have. If we take off the front panel of the case, which can be achieved by either pulling it off or taking the tabs from the inside and just pushing them in. You can see we have the front that comes off. There is a little bit of mesh right here. It's not really good for filtering dust, but you can put your own in. There's enough room in case you want to buy one off eBay. I know they're a couple dollars. I did add in another 120mm intake fan, included with the orange LED one. So it's nice to have places for 3 drives, for CD drives, Blu-ray drives, temperature indicators, that kind of stuff. Now you can see a look at the orange LED fan with the side door open. So yeah, that's pretty much what the fan looks like. The fans on this case are nearly silent. If you have them connected through Molex, you can notice a little bit of noise, but for the most part they're pretty silent. My graphics card fan and the power supply fan are making a lot of noise, and otherwise the fans are pretty much silent. You can see a little bit in there. Now the camera looks a lot different than it does in real life, but you have a decent look of what's inside. If you just put your head up to it, you can still see it. Like if it's on your desk in an area with moderate lighting, you should be able to see inside of it, but if you really want to have a great look at your components, you're not going to be able to really achieve that without lights inside your case or a really bright room. If we take a quick look on the bottom, you can see we have the raised feet with the foam on the bottom, which will give it more airflow. And then we have our 2 removable dust filters for the power supply and bottom intake fans or outtake or whatever you want to have down there. So it can be removed like that and just vacuumed out or however you want to do it. Now we just have a quick look at the case, but nothing's in it. You can see on down here we just have a bundle of cords, which will include the fans, the USB, the audio, and the power switches and all that. And then we have the fans on the bottom, places for the fans, power supplies, all that stuff. And then let's just take another look. Disk drives, motherboard, some cable management holes. The PCI slots, you can put cords through here or some water tubing for if you have water cooling. Motherboard I would place. We have just more airflow ventilations. We have our PCI slots right here. And then, yeah, that's pretty much for that. The default 120mm fan on the back. So, yeah, that's that. Let's just install the panel up there for the hard drives. So now you can see we just have that part in. So you just take the included HDD brackets, put them in the hard drive holes. Let's put one there. And then let's put some right here. And then once it's in, just find where you want to put it. Do mind that it might come loose a little bit, but just let's say you want it right there. Just put it in. There you go. You have a 2.5-inch drive installed. Or you can have it like this. The length for a graphics card, if you have that part in and you have some 2.5-inch drive bays in, it's 330mm. Without it, it can go up to 415. So just make sure before buying this case that your really large graphics cards will be able to fit. And if it does have cables that go that way, make sure you have a little bit of room for that too. In terms of build quality, the case is pretty good. It has a solid plastic right here, good metal right here, some good plastic right here too. Nice orange accents, the gloss right here. The gloss right here does not really scratch a lot, which is nice. We have some more plastic in here. We have our fan metal down here, which is pretty good. Good solid buttons. The only thing I could really say about the top that was not very good was it does show stuff on the top, like if you have dust or fingerprints, that kind of stuff shows. but just a good cloth will clean that off. It does scratch a little though, so the side has a good solid plastic right there. It's not really a scratchable plastic too much, especially since the out is part, so even if it's not on the case, it won't be scratching it. So yeah, that's pretty much for that. The PCI slots on the back are pretty good. It has a toolless design again. Just take that out and then put it back in. The water garments, now those things are a little loose, but they're good. We have our handles on the side, which is a nice addition, which fold in. The included fans are pretty good. You have lots of room for stuff if you want to add into it. Even if you don't like the orange design, let's just say, but you really like the case and what it has to offer, you can replace the front fan, keep in mind, and if you did want to take these out, you could just remove them and spray paint them to a different color, but yeah, that's pretty much for that. On newegg.ca, which is Canada, it's for $104, originally $115. $10 rebate is available for $15 shipping. And then on newegg.com, $70, originally $90, and then $59.99 after a $10 mail-in rebate, and free shipping is available. Overall, in terms of build, the design, all the room in there, I think it's a pretty good case. It does look pretty awesome. There's more than enough room for hard drives, SSDs, all that kind of stuff. You can fit a large motherboard in there, have a couple drives. It has hot swap, which is nice. It has cool looks. The front side panel, which pops in and out. And it has a nice orange design. So yeah, pretty much the only thing I could say that this case could use would be maybe just a dust filter for the front. Even if you're not using the one on the bottom, I guess you can take it out and tape it or zip tie it on the front if you really want it to be that filtered. And the side panel is not super clear, so if you want a really clear side panel, keep that in mind. But that's pretty much all for that. Thanks to Raidmax for sending this case out to review. If you want to check it out, leave a link in the description below as always. That's all for now. Have a nice day and see you guys later.